Okay, so I didn't share a video with you yesterday because I ended up doing a little bit of maintenance work, and I wrote a little bit about that in the email, and I now can let you see what I've done. It wouldn't have made for a very riveting video, I'm afraid. But what I did was basically to go through my Christmas photos, go through the album itself first, and review everything that I've got in here so that I had clear in my mind what I had and had not covered in this year's album. I went through all my photos on my computer so that I could also see which photos from December I had and had not included, and make sure there weren't any that I just kept meaning to come back to and hadn't printed yet. So I've printed those out and have some ideas of where I'm going to slot them in. And then kind of made a plan for a loose plan, but where things are going to go. One of the things I really needed to pay attention to was how much space I had left, because my album is getting pretty full. You can see here where with all the pages there, it's nearly to the point where if I add much more to close the album, it's all going to bend, and I don't want to do that. So I made a choice that I won't put my kind of year in review and that sort of resolutions and things like that in this album. I will go ahead and put that in my 12 by 12 album and keep it separate from Christmas this year. Most years I put it in here, but this year I've added more Christmas stuff, and that's okay. Then I took a bunch of photos that I know I want to include, and I have started putting them in pockets and then just putting other things from my kit into these pockets so that I know where I want to put things in, because I don't have a lot of things left in the kit, but there are some things where, like this die cut was one that I kept going, oh no, I'll put that on another page. I really like that die cut, I'll put it on another page. I'm going to run out of other pages to put it on, so I chose one and put it in the pocket. So I have kind of a little bit of a plan of where I'm going from here, and I hope that makes sense. So I do recommend that if you're getting to this stage, that a little bit of a maintenance session is definitely worthwhile, and just look at all the different things. I know that some years I've just really pressed on with my book and not gone back and read the different things that I had written, and then I regretted it when I look at it a month on and think, oh, there was this thing that I wanted to include, or sometimes the other side, I might have written the same story more than once. Okay, so this is where I left off, but that's the last entry you saw me make. This one is pockets that have just been added here and nothing done to them yet. These things are all loose. So I'm just going to show you a few steps of how this will come together. So I'm going to leave the Christmas tree one all on its own. I want to write a few little notes about this little train that's on the tree. And I had the train die cut still in my kit. And it's actually that big long train, but I just took the engine there and I think a little bit of vellum behind the train, just to separate it from that busy camera print in the background, because I want the camera print so that it coordinates across here. And I think I'll do, on that Santa card a little bit back, I did these rounded edges, and I wanted to do that somewhere else in the album so it wasn't quite a one-off. Because if it's the only time that I do a certain shape or a certain idea, then I feel like it looks a little bit out of place sometimes. Attach my tree. Why do I keep saying tree? Attach my train to the vellum, and that onto there, straight into the pocket. And then this one, this is a to from tag from that American Crafts pattern paper, but I just wanted to use some of this card so that I could have little journaling lines. And I wanted to use that merry and bright circle. That was my original idea. Looking at it, I'm not loving the circle there, so I think instead, still use this bit here. And then another shape here. I wonder if one of the train carriages would fit. Yeah. Okay, so just cut it down so that I have one train carriage rather than multiple train carriages. That there. And add in a little bit of journaling that I wanted to explain the ornament. Okay. That little bit of journaling there to go with the ornament. Kind of wishing I had a really tiny tree to go up here so that this would be a set of 3, but actually that's silly because if I look at it this way I have a set of 3. It's okay. So we're going to leave that just as it is. Go ahead and move over to here. And this one is going to have my journaling. I think I'll run that just off the edge, but it's only barely running off the edge. And journaling to coordinate with this, to tell the story of this photo here. Maybe this is where that merry and bright goes. Yes. Just the plain journaling card here on this one, and then that merry and bright circle is going to go on top of this pattern paper right there in the middle with some pop dots. Could dress it up with some ribbon behind, but okay, at the moment we're thinking that we'll just leave it a little more plain. And I'm going to use this little banner to have this 25, which is punched from, where's the pattern paper? From this print. This is one that I'd cut out before, but the 25 is on one of them, and I just used a punch to punch that out. And thought I would use my December word sticker there as well. Yeah. Goes into the pockets, and then I've got 2 pockets there on the top of the right hand page. One is going to be just this embellishment. So the card behind here is this one, which is a frame for journaling or whatever else you want to include. I want to put this tag here, but if you can see, that frame is not quite the right size for this. But that's okay because I also wanted to add some green here to make it make it coordinate a little bit better with everything else. So, oops, I have my green paper, which I'm knocking over everything on my desk, getting my green paper, and I'm just going to cut a rectangle that will cover that and be a good, just kind of another layer to the frame. Really simple shape though. I'm not going to try and mimic the tag, I'm just going to do the rectangle. That layer in the middle there. And this on top there. And my journaling card here to coordinate with that photo, tell that little bit of story. Okay, journaling card going in here, and it has a little bit of embellishment at the top left that I hadn't really planned because I started to write and I just kind of messed up with my writing and it was better to just stop and start again. So I used a little bit of that same paper to let it coordinate, and then a word sticker from the same sheet as over here to let that coordinate. So although I've added a little bit there that I didn't plan to, once I've done that maintenance section of knowing where I'm going to put things and what photos and stories I have left to include and what supplies from my kit I still want to use, you can see now how quickly these pages come together. In that time you've seen me do 1, 2, 3 sets and a lot of those 3x4 pockets. So I'm going to carry on in the next video, but I just thought you would maybe find that useful in that knowing a little planning session can go a long way toward helping you finish this type of project. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.